Today, Ripple's CEO explains why he was pleasantly surprised by Biden's crypto executive order. He also discusses the latest on the SEC's legal battle to label XRP a security. And remember LimeWire? Well, they want to sell you music-based NFTs. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Mackenzie Sigalos. That rally yesterday, well, it looks like it was short-lived. The crypto market as a whole dropped about 5% by noon Eastern, taking back most of the gains that cryptocurrencies made after Biden's executive order. Bitcoin fell by 7.5% since yesterday, Ether fell by a little less than 6%, and XRP lost about 4.7%. For more on the moves in the crypto market, fellow host Tanea McKeel spoke to Sarah Shi of Prime Trust.
I think there are multiple factors at play right now, right? We see the broader equity market is down, reacting to macro level events. And those same macro level events are usually also driving crypto markets down because a lot of people are still viewing crypto as an investment vehicle. Crypto is more than an investment vehicle. It's a store of value, it's a currency. Those factors sometimes counteract and push price up. Today, the macro level events, oil price, the situation in Russia, Ukraine is overpowering everything, right? But when we invest, I can't stress enough the importance of investing for longer term. Bitcoin is still going to be strong because people are seeing it as digital gold. In addition, Ethereum is still going to be strong because it is the ecosystem for DeFi, right? And when Ethereum 2.0 comes, I think that will solve a lot of problems that's holding development back right now, and that will really push up the price.
Okay, let's get you caught up on some of the headlines. First up, if you are old enough to remember the days of downloading music and sometimes viruses from LimeWire, then this one is for you. After shutting down 10 years ago, LimeWire will relaunch in May, but instead of peer-to-peer music sharing, it's offering NFTs. The tokens will still be music related. They'll focus on limited editions, unreleased demos of songs, and more. And yes, you will have to pay for them. Next up, the Justice Department and SEC just charged a crypto executive and his sister with defrauding retail investors out of millions of dollars. The SEC alleges that John Barksdale and his sister Jonatina Barksdale raised $124 million through a multi-level marketing business offering retail investors a subscription package that included an Ormeus coin. Now, the siblings claimed that the coin was backed by one of the largest mining facilities in the world when really mining operations had ended back in 2019. Now, ironically, the coin slogan translated from Latin is "out of many, one makes gold." A crackdown on crypto crime is just one part of Biden's executive order announced yesterday. He also tasked federal agencies like the Treasury and Commerce Departments with studying U.S. financial stability and securing U.S. leadership in crypto innovation. Still, some have said that Biden's directive is too focused on research rather than action. In the wake of that announcement, fellow host Kate Rooney sat down with Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse to talk about the new order and the company's current lawsuit with the SEC, which aims to define the XRP token as a security.
Joining me now, Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple. Brad, thank you so much for being here. It's great to see you.
Good to see you too, Kate. Thanks for having me.
Of course, it's a big week for crypto with this executive order. What does this mean for the industry, and what's the big takeaway for you?
Look, I think this has been a very positive event, and frankly, we had heard, as I'm sure you had, a lot of rumors about an upcoming executive order, and I think this exceeded my expectations of what we could have even hoped for. Because, look, the first step to solving a problem is acknowledging you have one, and for me, the executive order is really calling out something we've been saying for years, that one, this is a massive industry. It's not going away. We have tens of millions of U.S. citizens participating in various ways, which is awesome. But it also is calling out that, look, we have had a fragmented and siloed approach to regulation here in the United States. And that is impacting the United States leadership in this very critical, very rapidly growing industry. So I thought it was a very positive evolution, and I'm hopeful that it'll catalyze some solutions that we haven't seen yet.
And that seemed to be one of the big themes, competitiveness and the U.S. not wanting to fall behind on being on really the forefront of innovation. Do you think that played into it, the U.S. feeling like it might be falling behind?
I think it's clear it had a big impact in why the executive order was written. I think what we have seen really, and you kind of see, particularly the talk about silos, you kind of see to some degree the executive branch saying, hey, this SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, can't take singularly the lead because it has to think holistically. Every time the SEC is mentioned in the executive order, it's alongside the CFTC as well as the CFPB. And I think we have seen here in the United States, things have been withheld. They've been moving more slowly. And as to your question, outside the United States, in countries like Japan, in Singapore, in the UK, in Switzerland, even in the UAE, you're seeing entrepreneurs and investors able to pursue opportunities in crypto and blockchain without that uncertainty because the regulatory clarity has been there. Something Ripple has been calling for from well beyond even the recent lawsuit with the SEC.
So you mentioned the SEC. I got to ask you about the SEC versus Ripple case. What can you tell us about that at this point? What's the latest, and has there been any progress when it comes to that lawsuit?
Well, it's been almost not quite a year and a half since the SEC sued Ripple, sued myself, sued Chris Larson, and we are moving as expeditiously as we can. It has certainly been frustrating to see the SEC drag their feet. This past week, expert discovery wrapped up. The SEC had sought delays around that, and I mean, one of the ironies around this has been that Gary Gensler, the chair of the SEC, has been quoted as saying, "Justice delayed is justice denied," and then the SEC goes out and seeks delays. It's rare for a defendant against the SEC to be pushing to see things happen faster, but we think it's very clear that the SEC has overstepped. The SEC has taken what's called the Howey test, which is the test to determine if something's security, and they've really stretched it beyond recognition. So I'm hopeful and optimistic we'll see some decisions around some key elements that are before the court today, that maybe within weeks. We'll see. I think the questions that that the court has been asking have been very thoughtful, and I'm hopeful that we'll get some clarity soon.
And you've described the SEC in the past as really picking winners, and the idea that XRP as a cryptocurrency has been taken off of exchanges like Coinbase. In some senses, investors have missed out and not been able to trade XRP on those exchanges. Ripple has also seen certain downsides. Is it fair to say that the SEC is picking winners when it comes to XRP or other cryptocurrencies?
Well, one of the things I loved about the executive order, there are a number of themes that we have been at least championing in the marketplace that we saw in that executive order. One of them was about the importance of a level playing field. And as you pointed out, a big part of that executive order was around U.S. competitiveness. And what we saw happen at the SEC is, picking winners and losers, saying, hey, we don't think ETH is a security, but we do think XRP is a security, despite a whole lot of similarities. So I think that with the executive order, I'm hopeful that we'll get some of that level playing field we have sought. It's certainly not the role for the federal government to pick winners and losers. I think I'm a supporter and believer in what's happening in the Ethereum ecosystem. There's different use cases. And again, the executive order calls out specific use cases, for example, around cross-border payments, where Ripple has been focused really since the beginning, and how XRP, the digital asset kind of native to our solution, can really solve a lot of problems and benefit many consumers and businesses here in the United States.
Before we go, former SEC Commissioner Jay Clayton joined Squawk Box to talk about crypto regulation, and here's what he had to say.
Digital assets, whether new assets or old assets or familiar assets being digitized, are here to stay. And it also signals that they're going to be regulated to the extent that they are financial products, investments, and the like, with the same principles, time-tested principles that we've had for a long time. Consumer protection, investor protection, stability, anti-money laundering, those types of things. And there's one very important thing that is in this order, and that is a recognition that technological advancement is important for the continued prominence of the US dollar.
That's all for today. Crypto World will be back again tomorrow, and we will see you then.